Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to the final WandaVision panel. Okay, it was a great show, though. I'm Dub, and I'm here with the amazing panelist of Chris Giorgetti and Miss Geeky Page and Satomi. How are you guys doing today? How do you feel?
I'm excited to talk about the final.
I am mourning the loss of being able to wait for this show every week.
Agreed.
I can't wait for the next 700 Marvel movies to come out after this. I have questions.
Okay, now with this being said, I do want to front load you guys for next week. Although next week there is no WandaVision and there is no
Falcon and
Winter Soldier. I always want to say Winter Soldier and Falcon. But yeah, we are getting both this panel and the new panel together, and we're going to discuss anything we might have missed off of WandaVision, and we're going to discuss what we're expecting for the next show. So that'll be a lot of fun. So we're giving you guys something to look forward to in the 1 week that Disney says, you guys can have this week off if you want. You like my Mind Stone, by the way?
I like it very much. You're very white vision right now.
It has an alligator on it.
That's because he's so pale.
There is, yeah. I'm okay.
I
with
was
that.
referring to the fact that your stone was blue, but
Blue.
I sort of like that as well.
He's very Nordic.
Speaking of Nordic, there's some
tale.
Nordic stuff that we're going to talk about as we come. And oh my god,
And some other stuff.
yeah, there's a few things. Now, before we get started on this, we were not 100% on our theories. We were about 60 to 70, which isn't half bad. I think there's some theories that we made that I think we'll still see fruition. Yeah, and we'll get to all that later. But I think we did a pretty good job. And anybody that goes in saying that they're upset because their theories didn't come true. Now, you can be upset because they dangled things at you that should have been there, but I get it, and I sympathize, but enjoy the show. Come on, guys. Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Especially since they're going into new territory now that the main first couple phases are over, I think it's okay that they're allowed to take liberties with the source material and kind of like twist it to meet the needs of, the future. This is the show. WandaVision was the show that made me and my fiance watch the entire MCU. So now we get it and we understand the hype. But like going into every episode, it was fun not knowing what was going to happen next.
Now, and before we get into the show itself, I want to say all this to the people that are just TV/MCU movie viewers. This is why you read comics, kids. This, even up to them upsetting you at the end, this is why you read comics. This was a comic come to life, and they finally figured out the pulse of how to do that. And I don't feel like they've done that as well as they've done in this show.
Well, it feels like the writers are actually fans. Kind of like with Mandalorian, when you had people at the helm who were actually fans of the source material, so that even when they strayed, it did seem to still honor the spirit of it. And I agree with you, Dub. I think that I'm curious if some of what we saw was a compressed version of some of the things we were expecting from the comics. And then I'm curious if they will actually, because it's an open universe, things could happen. So there's so much that still could be explored. But I like all of us, I do have questions about this one.
Yeah.
And at the very end, we're going to talk about some of the things that upset us through this. And don't expect us to do our 45-minute show. I think we're going to talk for a while today.
I do want to give a shout out to, there's a great article in Collider. I think it came out today, or might have been yesterday, by Matt Goldberg. And it literally is, WandaVision failed to deliver things that were never promised to me. So it addresses, it's a great article that addresses the fact that we all had these theories. And
that made it so much more fun to watch.
Yeah, they might not have been. Wow. So if you want to read that, check it out. It's actually a pretty good article.
To be fair, I
To
had
be
no
fair,
I had no idea what was going on for the first 2 episodes, and I still had no idea what was going on until about halfway through the series. So yeah.
yeah. Okay. So let's get on to scene 1. And I thought it was an absolutely beautiful way. Literally, they pulled Rogue One and A New Hope together. It started the second the last one ended, and I thought there was literally it's not the new next scene, it was the scene. You know, they literally like split that scene in half, and I thought that was a really wonderful way of doing that.
And naming it the series finale.
Oh yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
It was good naming convention.
So you were just launched. It was great.
So I have this split into quote unquote scenes, even though there was kind of only like 3 scenes, but I have this I split this up and call them a lot of different scenes so that we can all keep up.
My notes are all over the place.
Yes.
So
Another thing I loved about the about this first scene when Agatha gets knocked into the house. It's a nice little Wizard of Oz nod.
So great.
With Agnes's very sexy boots sitting there all alone. I'm like,
there's a lot of witch nods throughout the entirety of the episode. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I mean, at one point in time, the cinema, the matinee, the marquee on the cinema says the great powerful Oz on it.
It does.
So I mean, there's all that good stuff. Yeah.
Did you miss that one there, Snowy?
I missed it because I was trying to read what it was, and I didn't, even though I watched it twice, I didn't do the pausey thing, and I just remember the dysfunction in the title whenever it was real Westview versus the other one. I was like, I can't read this. No, I'm just gonna enjoy the ride.
Now, I will say one of the many things that disappointed me on this last episode, I wish they would have somehow figured out how to put even if it's in the background, another music thing behind.
Yeah.
Because that's something I grew really fond of all throughout this series, and I kind of wish we could have had one more.
Yeah, I agree. But where? It's a tough one because it's so action packed.
It could have been on TV. Episode. There could have been a TV playing somewhere in the city or something. Yeah. That's just I'm spitballing, and they probably didn't want to put the expense into doing that.
Instead, we got. Are you a fan of Steven Seagal? I loved. We'll talk about that scene later.
Yeah, because I don't want to jump ahead, but.
Okay. Now, and then White Vision shows up, and I thought it was a great way that you thought that, oh, this is going to be a good Vision. And oh, nope, he's going to turn on her right away because he talks to her for a good minute and then turn.
He just says her name.
Yeah.
All he does is say her name.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was going to be like, and then, it's going to be okay.
I think in my case, I knew he was going to turn on her. I didn't think he was going to crush her head.
And I was a little weirded out that there was no like physical repercussion from the crushing of the head.
Well, she's pretty powerful. I guess
she is pretty powerful.
We're supposed to let that fly.
Okay.
We're watching a movie, a show about a witch that made a new town and keeps changing generations.
I mean, I did explain it in my brain, but there was just that moment of like,
let's not pull that thread too much.
Cracking. Okay. All right. I'm getting too literal. Continue. I interrupted you. I'm so sorry. I got sidetracked by the.
I went with you. It's good.
Awesome.
I had nothing.
Oh, I love the line when Agnes, and this is the final thing we got on scene 1. I love the line. Agnes goes up, "Uh-oh, your boyfriend, your ex are at the same party. What you gonna?" The way she said it, the way she delivered that line.
She had so many wonderful lines this episode. Like well, and I mean, we'll talk about the writing, but there were a lot of great lines in general. That hit home throughout the entirety of the episode. But yeah, Agnes had some of the best ones.
Yeah, the writing on that character is it's juicy. It's like actor's dream.
Mm-hmm.
and she had so much fun. You could tell she was having so much fun being this
Oh, yeah.
awesome witch
Oh yeah.
out in the air and stuff.
And a side note, something else that I loved so much, doesn't know, or she didn't really know everything that was going on with the popularity of the show. She has zero social media, and she refuses to look at any social media. Props, huge amounts of respect, by the way. But then when all this stuff is filtering back to her, I mean, that's got to be kind of amazing when you just
She had no idea that her song
was number one.
Was the number one on iTunes.
That's amazing.
Like I think Jimmy Fallon told her when she was on an interview with him, and she just was completely baffled by that. So yeah.
Just side note, what a delightful way to live. I mean, I would be really at peace without social media, to be honest.
Too.
If it wasn't for this show, I would not be on it at all.
If it wasn't for my profession, it would be a very, very small group.
If it wasn't for writing, that's how I do too.
Yeah. We all have excuses.
Anyway.
Okay, the next part. Okay, this is before the logic fight. We have the vision fight in the first place, and I think that was visually stunning.
Yeah. You know what I loved? You had Paul Bettany in both roles, right? But as White Vision, a combination of the fact that, the CG that included his eyes, but also because of that just wonderful stillness he brought to that other version of himself, it was almost like it was another actor playing that part. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if you noticed. He held his face differently. Because one thing I noticed, like when he said that I require elaboration, like his mouth was in an entirely different way than when he speaks as Vision as we know him. Well, so I mean, he went all in full body.
I think the decision was that he wanted to take the humanity out of White Vision.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there was so much physicality that was different. I completely agree with Tommy. It was like watching too. It almost was enough to make me forgive him for trolling us that way.
Yeah.
With his, there's going to be a cameo, and then it turned out to be him.
That honestly was not okay.
I liked how
in so many ways
during the Vision fight he tried to pull a Thanos and yank the Mind Stone out of Vision's head.
I thought that,
and he was just like, "Nope, see ya." It's like, why didn't you do that in Infinity War? Oh wait.
Well, what's interesting?
Fool me once.
What's interesting is you have to remember at that point in time, White Vision has no memory of any of that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he literally had no idea what he was doing was mimicking what Thanos did to Vision in the first place. So, I mean, it was like extra. The minute I saw that, I went, "Oh, no, y'all didn't just do that."
It was awesome.
Not again!
We are up to scene 3, and this is something I really didn't like. They needed it, but the bad guy spills the beans. These are my evil plans. Necessary, but I hated it.
It did give us a chance to have snarky Jimmy.
I love that Jimmy bluffed.
Right. Like,
I really love that.
Somebody said that Randall Park is literally probably the most likable guy in the whole universe right now. I would agree.
And I like how Jimmy Woo was practicing his sleight of hand that
flourish.
That Ant-Man flourish.
Yes.
You see an Ant-Man. Yes. But if there's one thing about this show that I think worked is there wasn't like a set bad guy. You had a couple people like Dub said early on.
Dub was the bad guy?
Well, usually.
Well,
okay.
But like
Agatha and
Hayward.
But yeah.
I will argue that Agatha really wasn't a villain because
what were you watching?
I was watching WandaVision. I watched it twice because based on what we talked about, how Agatha in the comics is supposed to be a mentor, I filed that into the back of my head, and when I watched it, I got the sense of she wasn't trying to hurt Wanda per se, but she was trying to say, hey, listen, you have no idea what you're doing. Give me your power so you don't hurt anyone else, and you guys can live here peacefully and no one will know about you. So yeah, I'd say she was an antagonist, but I don't think her intentions were inherently evil. Mic drop.
I think you're wrong on that one, but I can see your point. Moving forward, but because you said this, so I have to throw this in. She did say, "I take powers from witches
those who are undeserving."
That are undeserving. Maybe she wanted to see if she was deserving. Maybe that's why she waited so long, because she could have taken it from her at any point. Honestly, up to then.
Because even in the episode before, she was kind of nudging her along to reveal how she got her power. She was pushing her in the right direction. So in a twisted way, she was kind of that mentor figure, and you could see her kind of mentoring her, telling her about the mystical arts. And even using the book about it.
The book. I think that our theory is definitely 100% correct on that. Yes.
Yeah.
On the Darkhold.
I think you guys are right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of things in this episode that actually point to that too.
Yeah.
Especially we'll talk about when we get to it. In terms of Chris, I support your thoughts. I think you're wrong, but I support them.
I never said
I can see your point. I can see your point.
Yeah,
I just don't agree with it.
I think I maybe sort of agree to a certain extent. I don't think she's 100% evil, but that's because when you have a villain, you very rarely make them 100% evil.
You can only have
because
so
you
many
always
Thanoses
have to give them one thing.
Or Mephistos.
Yeah, you have to give them one thing that
redeemed.
Doesn't make them likable, but it makes them human, because no one is 100%. Even think about the greatest villains in superherodom. The Joker, he has that one thing that doesn't make him 100% evil. Bane's not 100% evil. Lex Luthor's not 100% evil. There's always that little thing. And I think probably to what you're saying, the one thing that gives Agatha that portion of her to not make her 100% evil is that she does know that Wanda has no idea how to work her powers, which we find out later she does. But she believes that Wanda doesn't know how to use these powers, and she's much too dangerous to have them. So even though she's after them for an altruistic meaning where I want this power, I have to have this power because that's what makes me happy. Knowledge, accumulating knowledge and power is her thing. It's her thing. I think to a certain extent, you're right, where she thinks if I take this power from her, I have the knowledge, I'll be able to handle it, and then she won't accidentally hurt people.
Yeah.
But I think it deep down, it's give me power, give me power, give me power.
What about the you don't know what you've done? What about the you don't know what you've done aspect of it?
Let's save that.
Okay.
We have to save that because that's
later.
I want to talk about that really, really bad.
I'm just saying, as somebody who's in Chris's shoes, that his theory makes sense to me, because there's so much that we, as neophyte watchers of the WandaVision part of this universe, there's so much that's unexplained about Agatha. There's still we're in the dark about so many things.
I believe it's left that way on purpose.
Yeah. And we're definitely going to see her again, but
yeah.
I think a lot of what was left with big question marks. Dub's going to kill me because I'm going to jump forward, but I think it's because it's leading into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
And hold that.
Yeah, because we'll get back to that.
We will get back there. Okay. Next up, the scene when Agatha is giving people their minds back was absolutely heartbreaking. And I was so disappointed with the Dottie thing.
Except.
It was nothing.
I kept thinking that it's possible that if she is Emma Frost, that she still could have been in on it, because she was the first one to come up and speak. So
Courtney has a theory that I think is interesting.
All right, give it.
Okay, so when you watch the credits, you realize that Dottie's real name is Sarah Proctor. And Exactly.
Oh.
Yes. So just dawned on the two of them. Sarah Proctor was accused of witchcraft in Salem. At the same time, Agatha was supposedly in Salem. I feel like she's coming back.
Yeah.
And I think because they wouldn't just name her Sarah Proctor for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she says her name is Sarah to Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
She's also the only one that gets like white squiggles on her face when Agatha gives her back her memories.
Kind of looked like the crown.
A little bit,
thingy.
yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Clea?
So it's very possible that she is, unbeknownst to her, or she obviously has connections to Agatha, and she will have connections to Wanda. Whether or not she's coming back, and I'm just spitballing here, I couldn't tell you, but they wouldn't give her the name Sarah Proctor, which you only see if you watch the credits. You only see the last name. They wouldn't give her the last name Proctor, which connects back to Salem just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
And she did answer one more question we've had since episode 1 episode 3. Where are the children? She says that the kids are locked in their rooms until Wanda needed them.
Mm-hmm.
That's dark, but at least they're not dead. So everybody that said they're dead, shut up.
Shush.
I knew they weren't dead because I don't think this show would have gone that macabre. But yeah.
It's Disney.
So the kids are just in their rooms.
Yep. And I do have another thing I want to talk about that, because this is where they start, kind of the townspeople kind of cluster in on Wanda, and she can't handle it. And then when she throws out her power, it starts to choke them. Well, if you think about it, in the beginning, in episode 1, the choking, Wanda is saying, "Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it," and that's what takes the chokehold off of them. If you think about back at the dinner party in scene 1, in episode 1.
Oh, wow.
Yep. The wife goes, "Stop it, stop it, stop it," when he's choking, and then they finally fix it. So I think it's a slight callback to that scene.
Oh.
Either that or Wanda is strong with the Force.
There's that.
Or once again, it's a whole lot of nothing, you jerks, for throwing out stuff that we didn't need.
I'm just making stuff up.
Let's see. Scene 5. This is the thing I'm the most upset with. This is a complete and total trolling waste of Evan Peters. I don't think it's okay. I think
Agreed.
that's an FU from Marvel to fans. I don't think it's okay at all. This is literally upsetting. It has nothing to do with theories. It has to do with that is literally trolling your fan base.
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
You don't think it's possible that that there's still something else going on? Because I mean, his name, for goodness sake,
Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
And that was so they could make that joke there. Yeah.
Right. It's gonna be a stupid boner joke.
Yeah.
So, I hope you're right, Satomi. I do, because
especially with
but
Evan
I've kind
Peters,
of lost faith at this moment. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great twist.
I thought it was funny too.
I thought it was. I agree with Deb. And maybe that's the difference between like the uber comic fans and the casual comic fans.
Because we know the storylines that should and could happen.
Well, I mean,
that we deserve to see.
It was so easy. It would have been so easy to just make him the X-Men universe Quicksilver and still have him controlled by Agnes. It didn't necessarily just have to be, they could have had anybody if they weren't going to make him be Quicksilver for real.
He's just a silly actor.
Right.
Had his headshot.
So I hope you're right, Satomi, and this was just.
But that was
an opening
to me.
But I mean, this was a wasted chance to bring the X-Men into this universe, and it was a waste of Evan Peters, in my opinion. Chris, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A thing I just thought of, because they haven't explained how the multiverse of madness works, so maybe they're saving that aspect of it for the movie. Because as much as you know, I do sympathize with it being a waste, because the one example I think of is if you give too much fan service, a la Rise of Skywalker, it's gonna upset people. It's gonna upset some people, and it's gonna make a lot of people happy. I feel like, as a relative newbie to the MCU, fully understanding just the movies and the TV shows, I didn't think it was a waste at all. I thought it was a great twist, because I feel like it would have been too easy to give the people what they want. And I know Disney loves to do things for the long game, especially with the MCU. So maybe
Marvel does. You're right.
I'm, and based on what we've talked about in previous episodes about Evan Peters, I think they know what they're going to do to bring it all together. I think it would have overshadowed the story that they were trying to tell with WandaVision. So I thought, like, for now, it was fine. But that's just me. But I know you guys are more versed in the comics.
I get it.
No, I hope you're right.
I hope you're right too.
I just kind of, that scene and the way they wrapped it made me lose so much faith in. I say all the other things, the misdirection with the rabbit and the stork and Monica with Dottie and all that. I'm more okay with it. That one is not. It just doesn't seem okay.
One thing I did read today, which kind of, I guess, goes with Kristen Satomi's thoughts on it, is that Kevin Feige said that there wouldn't be any huge reveals in any of the TV shows. And the reason he said that is so that the people who only watch the movies aren't missing anything important.
Tough.
I do, however, feel that that's, I don't know if that's a legit quote or not. And I do feel that that's, well, I mean, I do feel that that's not correct anyways, because if you don't watch WandaVision, you've already missed a ton anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even her going into, if you don't watch WandaVision and you only watch the movies, going into Madness of the Multiverse, you're not going to know where'd she get the new costume, why she got all this power now. You don't know because you didn't watch. So, I mean, even without the big reveals, you're still missing a lot if you're not watching the TV show.
Well, not only that, but
I don't know how that works.
As a casual watcher, I would never in a million years have thought that witchcraft was going to be part of the MCU.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah. And plus, whoever's not watching it is just missing out.
A lot.
If you haven't watched it,
agreed.
You're just missing out on a great show.
Agreed.
So, other part of this scene is Monica. It looks like she's going to be really interesting.
I love her so much.
I want to say this, and I know this falls on deaf ears to everybody. As a uber not fan of Miss Marvel, can we have Monica replace her? Because Captain Marvel. I love this character. I don't like anything they've done with.
I hope she has a huge part.
I hope she overshadows Captain Marvel, like, completely, except for the other part that we'll talk about at the end, which upsets me because that's a big part of it.
I can't wait to see what they do with this character, because
she's going to be one of my favorites.
I'm loving her. I'm loving her.
Yeah.
And she's not a character I would have even given a crap about 3 months ago.
I think as the actress makes it so great too.
Yeah.
I cannot remember her name, and I do apologize for that, but she is just fabulous to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Monica Rambeau become Captain Marvel in the comics at some point?
At some point in time, yeah, she does.
I'm so happy with that switch. Do it now.
Yeah, she does. She does take the call sign.
I've never been shy about my thoughts on that, because I think she's
one of those.
Can act.
One of those characters that has had multiple. Like, she takes the name Photon. She's also known as Spectrum. She's Captain Marvel. There's like 4 or 5 other different. But I think she's going to have a big part, because they put out a casting call for what they're calling a John Boyega or Michael B. Jordan type of actor for Captain Marvel 2, and it's got to be the Blue Marvel, Adam Bashir. That's my only thought of what character they're asking for. And he and Monica dated in the comics, so I bet she's gonna have a big role, which I hope so.
I hope she has her own
Personally.
movie.
Yeah.
No,
Get her on. I'm
she
there.
she
have
is
her,
a million.
Have her be in the multiverse. Have her. Put her in everything.
She is
As
a
far as I'm
million times the
concerned.
actress of Brie Larson, and I'm not afraid to say it. I think she's a million times better. That's the movie that I want to see. I don't
Brie
want to see
Larson
Brie Larson.
has an Oscar though.
And
No,
how much do I give a crap what's sitting on your panel? I don't care.
She's done.
I don't care. She was crap as Captain Marvel. I'm sorry. And she's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Scott Pilgrim. I mention that one all the time. She is so much better. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm done. Okay.
Just give me Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy solving MCU crimes all over the universe.
I'm in.
Like Scooby-Doo style.
That's exactly. I was going to be like, it's a Scooby gang. That's it, right there.
I'm absolutely in. Okay, next scene is scene 6. We learned that all of, or 99.9% of Wanda's evils were not intentional, which leads to the question: is it an entity or is it just the uncontrolled power? And this is something that me and Courtney do go around and round and round about. I believe it's an entity, and especially at the end, we'll discuss it. But
no,
it's either. It's one of those. We can safely say it's either the uncontrolled power, because if you're a kid with a magnifying glass and you're destroying the anthill, you don't realize that you're actually doing anything. The ants you are. To the people that the ants that you're affecting. So uncontrolled power is one thing, or it could be that Scarlet Witch is the entity, which, and I want to go back to this, is when the entity started growing stronger, her accent started to go. Her accent went away. When she was more her and she was all emotion and just herself, that's when her accent would come back. So
it's so funny because I actually didn't notice a shift in her accent, and I'm very, very sensitive to that. I just felt like it was more confidence. When you're sort of stepping into your own power, you shift how you speak, and you're going to use you're going to use more of those muscles because what you have to say is important, and it, versus when you're just talking and just being So I don't necessarily. I think I'm in the Courtney camp on this one, Dub. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yay, girl power!
You guys can all agree when you're wrong together. It's okay. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna be right and you're gonna be wrong.
So,
and I'm gonna show it to you when we get to
Do we care?
I'm gonna show it to you the part which part we're gonna get to at the end, because I'm interrupting you to next week.
No, that's when I really. Yes, that's when I really fade onto it. But anyway,
but we'll have fun. Okay, can we talk about?
Hold on, Chris had something first.
Oh, sorry,
so
Chris.
I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this. I think she doesn't quite know how to control her powers, and I'm just going based on the movies and the show. I don't know anything else, but like you see her in the movies, she kind of knows how to use it, and then as this show takes place, something's changed where she has no idea how certain things are happening. And when Agatha says you have no idea what you just unleashed, when she's finally in her Scarlet Witch costume, which looks so cool.
Oh my god, I want it. I want it.
Like, we'll get to that a lot.
Like, I feel like in that moment, she's become aware that she is very powerful, but there's still aspects that she doesn't know. So I'm gonna say she kind of doesn't know how to control certain aspects of her superpowers.
With that, I say we talk about the witch fight.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Starting with the whammy.
Hold on, we're at scene 8, just so if everyone's following at home.
So starting with the whammy that she gives her, like she gives Tony and Iron Man, and she gives everybody else. And I love the fact that Agatha is so powerful that she's not lost in that daydream that Wanda has put her in.
I have a legit question. How did Wanda know to put her in Salem in her dream? I was a little confused about that as someone who's like...
Because it's an entity and the entity was there. Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
The real reason, what it is she doesn't actually know what her power is when she does that. It takes you to the darkest place you can imagine. So if you think of
Gotcha.
in Ultron,
Mhm.
she sends Tony back to, not Tony, she sends Kat back to be with Peggy, but everyone is dying around them. You know, like there's that strange world. And then she sends Tony what Tony sees. Tony sees all of the Avengers dead. So, and the Chitauri and everything coming through. So what she does is her power can play on the fear of the person she's whammying. And that probably is arguably the place where Agatha hit the most trauma in her life.
Okay.
And so that was the place that just automatically sent her there.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up, Courtney. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Did anybody else have any complete love for the fact that when Vision and the kids were de-resing, it was Tetris?
Oh my God, that was so sad.
As I say, it was a sad scene, but the Tetris thing made it like, oh, that is so cool.
I didn't catch that it was Tetris.
Yeah,
it was.
chunks of them were falling off.
Well,
They were
I caught the
pixelating.
chunks. I caught
It's
that
all
all
Tetris.
of that,
They're all Tetris
but I
pieces.
didn't catch that they were Tetris shaped.
They were,
they're all Tetris
They were
pieces.
pixelating.
What
Like, no, I got the pixelation. I just didn't get that.
Watch it again and you'll see the
pixels
Tetris.
were
And the
Tetris-shaped.
colored, they're different Tetris colors too.
I'm so gonna watch it again.
Chris?
What blew my mind is that they weren't real. The kids weren't real.
Well,
Because they were falling apart like Vision was falling apart. Now, I know you're probably going to rebuke that, so please explain to me why I'm wrong.
No, we're not going to rebuke that till the end.
No.
At that moment, we can 100% agree. Yes.
In that moment, and they're not really in this world.
Multiverse.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
Okay.
Let's see.
But yeah, you're right. You're right.
Is
In that
this
moment,
going to
they
be
were.
like between Phantom and Love Never Dies, where suddenly it's like Christine has a kid, and you're like, when did that happen?
10 years old.
I didn't watch that one. Sorry.
You're not missing much.
No, it's
I've heard
okay.
that.
It's
I've heard
really
that a few
okay.
times. Anybody else just scream for a second with the Incredibles callback?
Oh my
Yes!
god!
I missed
So
it the
great.
first watch through.
Oh my god! You made me so
Oh god!
happy.
I love it.
So good. So
I
good.
love it. That was so much fun.
Oh, it would. Yeah,
We're all like, yeah.
that is that. As much as bite me on the Evan Peters stuff. This was beautiful. This
That
was
was
a nice
fun.
little piece.
Yeah.
of
That was so
That was a
much
little kiss.
Well, and then I personally loved it when Wanda goes, "Boys, deal with the military. Mommy will be right back."
Yes. Yes.
I'm like,
And the whole sequence leading up to this, which is, we never, your mom and I never told you about this. And then she turns around and she's like, but you were born for this. And it's like, yeah.
I love it. I love it.
So,
Although-
It's so good.
Oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, although I had not recalled during the Halloween episode when they went around stealing everybody's candy, was the mental kid actually making all the people freeze like he did? Because I don't remember that being his power.
He
'Cause
got his toward the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But he was able to freeze people?
Yeah,
he has
the same
basically
power
every
she does.
power that she has.
Okay. Did
So
we
everything
see
that she has, he has.
in the up until this point? Was it just something that I missed in that episode when he got his powers?
We may not have seen it. I don't think we've
Okay.
seen it.
Okay. Because it
I
was like
think it's
deal with the
just
military, and he
implied
was like,
because she can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which might have something to do with the whole thing of us talking about the fact of the realness.
I love that Vision's battle ended with a logic battle.
Yes.
That's the only thing that could have been proper for that character.
Yes. And it was a good good one.
Yeah. I mean, that was just yeah. That's all I gotta say about that. And then him flying off. I mean, because it's like, okay, that's how we're gonna keep Vision in the universe, in the MCU,
So
because he's out there somewhere.
do we call that as a win and a correct that we said they're going to merge and there's going to be one Vision at the end? We thought it was going to be Green Vision, true, but I'm not. I think we call that a win. I think we can call that a win.
It's a merging of sorts.
It's merging.
Maybe. I mean, he
Of
gave him all of
sorts.
the
all of his
he
memories.
gave all the memories back.
He also gave him some memories that he technically didn't have Except the only way I could justify that in my head is that since he came from Wanda, so somewhere in his databanks he would have those. That's the only thing
But it was
that's the only way I
locked,
could
yeah.
sort of reconcile that.
I love how after Green Vision uploaded all his memories into White Vision, White Vision's eyes turned normal.
Human.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was a really brilliant way to keep, like, as you said, keep our Vision in the MCU, but in a different form.
Well, and the nice thing is because he's given him the memories, what Dub and I were afraid of, because in the comic when White Vision is there, he doesn't remember anything, and he pretty much tells Wanda, I don't love you.
I don't have any feelings for you.
Those
aren't my
kids
children.
aren't mine. Just because you say they are,
technically
I don't know who
they aren't. But
yeah, but I mean, it's like there's this horror. It's a terrible.
It's a horrible moment.
Literally, just destroys Wanda. I wonder if we did a poll to see who has the most grief in the MCU, and it's got to be Wanda. But yeah, so because he has the memories, it's probably not going to be as harsh as it is in the comics, because he literally just destroys her and she cries.
I think it has to happen.
I think it's going to happen somewhat, but I don't think
he's
going to
have memories, but he's not going to love her.
But he has memories of loving her.
Yes, and
but that doesn't mean he's going to continue.
Yeah, but aren't memories what create the person, and therefore create the love? So if he has those memories of her, wouldn't he therefore still love her?
That would be nice, but I don't think we're going to get a happy memory.
Because
happy
throughout this episode, one of the big themes is, who am I?
2, 4, 6,
6,
0,
1. Thank you. You just broke Courtney.
I don't even know what to say.
I gotta go steal some bread.
Oh God.
Okay, let's move up to when WandaVision turns the tables. Dun, 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 dun. Now,
so good. It's so well done.
There's something that I noticed, and I think Courtney noticed this too. Now, when we looked at the ruins that Agatha did, I don't recognize them from anywhere. I don't know they exist. The ones that Wanda did are Viking ruins.
Runes?
They're Nordic.
Yes, they're Nordic.
The Nordic runes. They're
so
straight.
I don't know if that was an intentional thing.
How did she learn them?
She stole them from whatever was around the wall. Is what I think.
That's what I thought.
I think maybe we just didn't see all of them in Agatha's.
We only saw like 2 or 3 in Wanda's, and we saw like 2 in Agatha's.
I have to fully admit, that took me by surprise. I did not anticipate her throwing the runes against the hex wall. And when the camera pans and we see them, I literally went, oh!
And then you can really kick yourself.
I was so surprised, and I was so happy.
You can really kick yourself because if you look really, really close when they're battling before that, you can look and you can see the outlines.
Can you?
I know she's missing. I know she's missing.
Yeah.
At times, and I thought she was just missing.
Yeah, look around.
For some reason, I never anticipated that, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, I love it!
Yeah, because up until then, you're like, what is a terrible shot? What is going on here?
Okay, now let's end this up right now with, well, this part anyway, with...
I was like, end this.
Well, no, we still got stuff to talk about. This is where we get to the Agatha that we said she was going to be. What? Go ahead.
The suit, man.
Oh, well, yeah, the suit.
Yes.
We get it. Yeah. She's the Scarlet Witch now. And she has that
honestly,
suit
that is the
like
hottest. That's
X-Men.
the hottest costume in all of MCU right now. Period.
And what's so amazing is it's not particularly revealing.
No,
it's just beautifully done. The leather work on it is insane. And if you look at her crown, right, you can kind of see the W just a little bit, and then around her neck are 3 V's.
And Courtney, do you want to say so what else this is similar to?
It looks just like Magneto's costume in X-Men Apocalypse.
Almost exactly. It's a female version of Magneto's suit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They're different costumers. I looked, so it's done on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
made me so
Now,
happy.
one thing I will say about the revealing is that actually may be Lizzie Olsen's input, because she has gone on record of the previous one, the very first one she has, and not in Ultron, but I think it's it might be the end of Ultron. She thought she didn't like her costume because it was too revealing. So they may have given her the high neck. I don't know. But like I said, it looks
But I'm
like
so okay with it.
Right, shit's gorgeous.
It's
She's
stunning.
absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, it looks very identical to Magneto's costume in the
Exact
last
colors,
X-Men movie.
same cut.
Same
the
cut,
helmet's
same
the
everything.
same.
If it was the same costumer, I would have said it's just a commonality. It's two different costumers.
Which gets us back actually to the Evan Peters thing, because it even could be that Ryan Boner, whatever his name, Ralph. Boner, that's who he was in that
Boner.
particular universe. And if we're talking multiverses in another universe, he could be Quicksilver. So we this still may not be the end of Evan Peters, because if we're having to tie into Magneto.
I do have to say this though, if that is their cop out, I still won't be satisfied with that. If they reveal there's another Quicksilver, okay. Multiverse, okay. It won't be as special to me.
I'm so sorry,
I know.
Deb.
I know.
I'm sorry for your loss.
It kind of is. It's upsetting. There's a few things.
Although, wait. You started this show telling other people who were mad that their theories didn't come true.
No, it's not the theory. It's that is a
grip.
very particular reason why on that. It's not the theory.
Uh-huh.
I'll admit that I'm wrong on theories. I don't care. It's that moment I think they just didn't give us that I really think we deserved. Anyway, okay. So we were right. Agatha will be coming back as the teacher that we all thought she was going to be throughout this.
I think at some point she will be.
Yeah, they're going to wait a year or two, but I think she got pretty popular though.
Did Wanda leave her in crappy Westview?
Yes.
As the nosy neighbor in crappy Westview?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like, she got rid of happy Westview. So what happened to Agatha? Okay, so she's just living the nosy neighbor dream.
My thing is that what I thought was implied by the comment that she said no one will bother you is I think she is confining her magically into a house, and she's not allowed to leave there. I do think that even though she's changed her into Agnes, she's still completely cognizant of who she really is.
Did you see how sad her eyes were, especially with the initial switch? There was tears.
Yeah, on the okie dokie artichoke. Yeah, she's just, But by not getting rid of her,
they were smart.
She'd come back.
You can't get rid of Agatha.
No.
You can't.
No. She can't come back. She can come back anytime now.
Yeah.
She's such a great character. It would be idiotic for them to let that go. And what's going to happen, what I predict, is we're not going to see her for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be that, she shows up out of the blue and it's like,
Agreed. Yep.
Okay, everybody ready? This is the final proper scene. We're not going to talk post-credits. This is...
Not yet. Okay.
This is the moment.
There's a good line in this scene.
What a heartbreaking end.
First up,
I have a question. Did the kids know or did they not know?
I think they knew.
They seemed very resigned because she looked very relieved when Vision didn't tell them.
I don't think they knew.
I didn't
think they knew.
I don't want to think that they knew.
I think Wiccan knew, but only because he has the same powers as his mom. And he's known what's been in people's minds. He knew that that Agatha's mind was clouded. Speed may not have known, but I mean, also if you look at his face when she said, "Thank you for choosing me to be your mom."
Oh God.
They showed up. They did a close-up of Wiccan. They didn't do it on Speed. It was of Wiccan, and he smiled. And that kid's going to be a talent because there was a lot in that smile for a 10-year-old kid. Yeah, I think he knew. Whether Speed did, I don't know. But I think Wiccan knew.
Yeah.
What was coming.
Anything else on the kids before we go on to the final one? No? Okay.
No. I'm glad we didn't have to watch them get dusted.
Oh, no, that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
It was hard enough watching Vision. Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad they opted us not have to watch that because I would have not.
That honestly, that would have taken away from the
uncontrollably
series.
sobbing anyways. I don't think I would have handled. I probably would have passed out if the boys had.
I liked the way that they said the Vision goodbye and gave us hope and still broke our heart at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, the line. I mean,
the line was beautiful.
He has a couple of beautiful lines in that, but also I liked the moment that he cried because that's a big comic book moment where they talk about Vision, can an android cry, and he sheds a single tear in the comic book, and so I think that's why they threw it in. But
okay.
the lines, there's two lines I'm going to read out and see what everybody thinks about them. One is, I've been a voice with no body, a body but not human, now a memory made real. Whoever's been writing these last couple episodes has just been knocking the crap.
Bravo.
Yeah.
And then the other one was where he looks at her and says, we have said goodbye to each other before, so it stands to reason. And then she says, we will say hello again.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they didn't end it with a kiss because that would have been awkward.
Yeah.
No, I think it was perfect the way it was ended.
Yeah.
I also loved her line when he said, what am I? And she was, you're my sorrow and my hope, but most of all, you're my love. And
I'm gonna start crying now.
Yeah, it's so beautifully written without being sappy.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like this little these little pearls of truths, just one after the other, and it was just, or at least what would hope the world to be.
The beauty of it when she's turning the lights off and he turns them all on.
Oh God!
And he looks and he goes, maybe I just wanted to see you one more time, and there you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just the beauty of the language. And I mean, we've said it, I think we've said it every single episode, but I think it both saying one more time, both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are just knocking this out of the park in the acting realm. I mean, if they don't end up getting some sort of acting award nom somewhere along the line, I understand it's a comic book show, but the acting from everybody, but especially from the two of them and Catherine Hahn, it has been stellar.
Yeah.
And so
now the wrap-up scene, I wish it would have ended there. I did not want that wrap-up scene. I know you had to have it.
The Monica scene? Where she talks to Monica? No,
that's the post-credit. The wrap-up scene when it shows...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, when it shows old boy getting arrested and blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the whole town hates her and I gotta go, blah, blah. And Monica says, I do the same thing. I don't think that was necessary.
I kind of feel like it was. And let me tell you why.
Okay, you tell me. You tell me that cosplay Scarlet Witch.
I'm going to explain to you. I was doing the comic book one, and
and I did.
You got to give me props. I was working with whatever's in my closet. So thanks. So they just had this perfect, beautiful, emotional moment that, yes, we want to put in a snow globe and just encapsulate that for all time.
Snow globe.
But we had two post-credit scenes coming up.
Just hold off on those, yeah.
And I'm not talking about those specifically. We needed that breath to get out of that, let's face it, deep, very painful, complex emotional space to something that was a little more settled, so that we could take in the information that had yet to come.
Yeah.
Because if we had all been a mess when those two post-credit scenes came in, I mean, think about it. Think about seeing those other scenes after that, and it would just be like, no, I'm done.
I agree with you. It needed to happen, but I didn't want it to happen.
I can see. That makes sense.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think anything that came after that was Thanksgiving dinner after you're done eating and you're full, and then you try to go for a couple more bites and you shouldn't. It just doesn't taste as good anymore. You're like, oh, I don't feel good, and you cram it down your face anyway. That's what that last scene felt like to me.
Interesting.
It was good, but
I
that
felt like it was a
moment
cup of coffee after that meal. That maybe there wasn't quite room, but I could kind of get it in there before
enough.
dessert.
I leveled it out. I was crying big, gulping, uncontrollable, girly sobs.
Yeah.
And that scene helped make me stop.
Yeah. I think that's literally what its purpose was. We just sucker punched everybody.
So now,
Put a little aloe vera on it before we move on.
Before we close it up and go on to our post credits, is there anything that anybody would like to discuss before we go on to these post credits?
Yes.
I'm about to get angry. Go ahead.
Yes. Darcy.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
That was such a great moment.
That was.
And her
Have fun in
line
prison.
delivery. Oh my God. Her delivery.
Have fun in prison.
So great.
I love it. I love it.
I just want her back. They need to, her and Jimmy Woo and Rambo, and they just need to, like you said, we need a Scooby Gang right there. So good.
Well, I love the fact that she's still in the ice cream truck.
Yes.
And she rammed him with the ice cream truck. And she's like, ah!
And isn't she still in her escape artist outfit? And then part of me's like,
back yet.
yes, and it's like, was the traffic that bad? Like, was she still standing there waiting for those stupid school children to cross until now?
I love it.
Like watching the battle over town.
I have to say, I will say this and see what everybody else thinks. Hayward, yeah, maybe it was the actor, not as evil as he should have been.
I didn't care. But when he got arrested, like, okay.
Right, like whatever, bye.
I didn't care.
He was so human in that icky kind
That's
of way.
a really good
Maybe
definition of that.
Yeah.
He was such a jerk face. Like when he tried to shoot the kids. Like, oh my God.
Kids? Really?
Like he deserved to get arrested.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm talking like this, but
I don't either.
I don't know, but that moment did give us that incredible photon moment with the bullets going through her and her eyes going gold. Right. And
how cute are she and the kids together when she turns around and looks at Wiccan and like goes, nice trick. He goes, yours too.
Yes.
Some of that just looked like a godmother moment.
Yo, totally.
So cute.
Totally.
So I mean, she did deliver them after all.
Well,
she's going to be in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
How can they be? They're not existent anymore.
Wait, we'll get there.
We haven't hit
They're
that
not
yet.
real.
We haven't hit it yet.
No, but
we gotta go post credit one.
If Vision can go on and on, then there's room. Okay.
Okay. Y'all ready to watch me get really, really mad like the Hulk?
Okay.
Let me.
I don't know why this made you mad, but go ahead.
He has this deep-seated hatred for these characters.
More than I hate any character, more than I hate Brie Larson, more than I hate everything. I think
it's part of the reason he hates Captain Marvel so much. It's really not that
I hate the scroll. It's not good writing.
Scrolls everywhere.
Dub does not like green eggs and hams.
No,
does not like
writing.
Sam, I am.
It's not a creative storyline by any stretch of the imagination. When they go to this, I am going to have trouble watching. I refuse to pay for any movie while they have scrolls on, so I will only watch them at home. Oops, I'm not Vision anymore.
He's not Vision.
I hate the scrolls.
Somebody stole the Mind Stone.
Well, that's the anger popping out. Just I hate the scrolls. Okay, guys, go ahead with this scene on this.
Well, you kind of need the scrolls because they gotta set up Captain Marvel too. You gotta set up.
You gotta I'm holding my breath for that.
Well, what if it's Rambo?
Before you tee up, you got to put the ball on the tee, and then you got to swing. Captain Marvel 2 is the swing of the setup.
This is me hitting myself with the golf club. If there's freaking scrolls. Oh, I hate this. You're a scroll, and you're a scroll.
And
you're
everyone's a scroll.
Everyone's a scroll. I hate the scrolls.
I don't mind the scrolls, so the scene didn't bother me at all.
Oh,
yeah.
I hated the comic book storyline. That is literally my least favorite. I hate that more than I hate the Quicksilver Scarlet Witch stuff that we don't talk about on the show.
Oh, the line that we don't talk about.
That's how much I hate the Skrulls. I would rather have 10 years of that storyline than 1 year of Skrulls.
Oh no,
I hate it that much.
Got something to say. Calm down.
I'm gonna invoke a name just because I have a legitimate question. Who do you hate more? Do you hate the Skrulls more or my man Springsteen?
I would listen to Springsteen on repeat 24/7 every day of my life till I died and go through Skrulls.
Thank you for answering my inquiry.
That's how much I hate the Skrulls. You guys are going to see a lot of anger coming up on some of these shows that are coming up, guys.
Yeah, because clearly
they're
going to be part of your world, Deb.
They're not good at all. I'm asking all fans unite and fight against this.
Well, I mean, the other thing is in the MCU, they're a lot nicer than they are in the comic books. So I mean, they're messing around with Skrulls.
And Deadpool's a Skrull. And Captain America's a Skrull. Oh, we did something we didn't like in this storyline. Guess what? It doesn't matter. He's a Skrull. Okay, I'm done.
Are you done? Okay.
I think so. Sorry. I apologize. I wanted to get that out. So that's I wasn't a fan of that scene.
So we're going to talk about the next scene, the end credit scene where I take Deb to school, but go ahead.
I don't think so. I think that we saw two different Scarlet Witches there, and one is the entity that's casting spells, and one is Scarlet Witch who's being Scarlet.
Or
one is
maybe
Wanda.
it's
One is
astral
Wanda.
projection, or maybe it's astral projection.
Why are we astral projecting from the next room? Give me a freaking, and she's not meditating, so she's not paying attention. No.
Yes, but also he's sleeping at one point in time. He's walking around and he's astral projecting. It's astral projecting. Not only is it supposed to be tied to Doctor Strange, the music in the background is the Doctor Strange music.
Great.
Mic drop.
Great. There's no mic drop to that. You're not giving me anything here.
With Courtney, I will agree. It is astral projection because when she's floating looking at the book, she kind of looks translucent, a la Doctor Strange. Boom, mic drop.
And that's exactly what the Phoenix would look like.
I love you, Chris.
That's what the Phoenix would look like.
But,
it's okay. It's okay. I know. Y'all can handle the truth. It's okay.
But it's okay to be wrong every now and then. Just
I agree with you. Okay. I'm just not on this one.
So now that I'm done fighting with you, I will bring up one thing that I thought was fairly interesting, and I don't know if everybody caught it. When she, because she's sitting on the porch and then she goes back into the house to get tea. There's a quick glance of some artwork on the sides of the house.
Viking artwork, perhaps?
No, it's not Viking.
It wasn't Viking?
Those are sigils. Those are voodoo and hoodoo sigils. It's a magical device used for protection.
Okay.
But I mean, it is a magical thing.
Yeah.
It is something that is used in witchcraft. It's just not Viking this time. But they're sigils.
Okay. So. Now let's ask the important question on this. The voices we hear, is that in the multiverse or is that a pocket universe? And I don't know if that makes... before you answer, Courtney, I don't know if that makes a difference to you two or not. Does that make a difference of if it's one thing or the other? Not really for Satomi. No. Okay, so if it's the multiverse, it's everything we've been talking about. It's the massive, everything can happen in every different universe, which is loads of fun. But the pocket universe means that isn't another Wiccan and Speed. That is our Wiccan and Speed in a pocket universe. It could go either way.
Behind that, but
we know the next episode is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. Yeah. But I don't know. Is that ours or is it others?
How do you explain how the fake kids were actually real, but they also can interact with different universes? I like, there's so many questions.
They could be real in another universe. That's how multiverse works.
I think we're going to hell in the madness of the multiverse.
Mephisto.
Yeah, I think
I don't think we were wrong on all those sites.
I was going to say, do you think the Mephisto stuff is going to pan out in the future?
Yeah, yeah. I would be surprised.
I'm still holding on to that one.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a little bit of it in Doctor Strange. And the only reason I say that is because if she goes after the kids, whether they're in a pocket universe or in a multiverse, I think what's going to happen is we're probably going to see her break reality a little bit. And I think that's what's going to cause Doctor Strange to have to kind of intervene. And whether those kids are being held by Mephisto, and then we have to descend into the Marvel Worlds version of hell, would be an interesting. Now, this is just spitballing, but it'd be an interesting way to do it. I mean, because we know she has the power to break reality.
So is she gonna like Rick and Morty this, where she destroys one
She's gonna be a
reality and then she has a pickle Rick?
As long as it's the reality with the scrolls that she destroys, I'm good with it.
But what if the scrolls are everywhere, Dub? There's no escape from the scrolls.
That's
In
the
fact,
problem
I'm
with the
scroll.
stupid scrolls. They're like cockroaches.
But
Scroll.
so basically what you're saying is there's a possibility she breaks one reality and then she has to find a reality that's close enough where she then has to kill
That's possible.
her version. Yeah. Oh, there's so much they could
'Cause
do.
They said the madness of the multiverse of whatever it's called, multiverse of madness or madness of whatever.
Madness of the
Another
multiverse.
confusing movie part 2.
Right, whatever Doctor Strange number 2 is. They have said that it's going to embrace more of the horror side of
Ooh.
the Marvel universe, so it is going to be darker, and there's going to be
As
a
long
lot
as it's
more
not
of
like
that.
the
So
new
it makes,
the New Mutants.
Maybe.
Oh, that was so bad.
You mean that movie that was delayed for 3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have
Now-
released it ever.
We were correct. It is the Darkhold. The book is the Darkhold.
Which was from
Which is
the
the
library.
one that was taken from the library. Now, the other cute thing I thought I saw today is Diego Luna, who plays Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He tweeted
Not my
that...
Ghost Rider.
No. But
He has a
tweeted
car.
He's it. Pardon me. He tweeted, he goes, I'm in so much trouble now because one of the things that the Ghost Rider has to do is his job is to keep the Darkhold safe from the evil elements. And he wasn't doing that, apparently.
So I have a question for you guys.
Mhm.
I think I already know Dub's answer to this.
Scrolls!
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, actually. No, dark entity. What do you posit that Agatha was referring to when she said, you don't know what you've unleashed?
Ooh.
Could it be Mephisto because Mephisto was a rabbit? And maybe that freed him from that?
Possibly. I think that they've left enough open that I think that anything that we say now is strictly a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say maybe it's the fact that, because I mean, Agatha legitimately seems worried.
Yeah.
Because Wanda can't control her or doesn't know how to control her power. She doesn't have the knowledge. And so I think she's really worried that she's going to bring about the end of the world because the Scarlet Witch, they even said in the episode a couple of times that the Scarlet Witch is the prophesies to bring about, she's the harbinger of death, harbinger of the end of time, end of the universe. So I think she's probably afraid because there's not enough knowledge in Wanda yet
To
that
control it.
one slip and she's going to blip everybody out of existence.
It's why I think that Agatha's not a true villain, because she's just trying to protect her and everyone else.
I can get behind that.
That could be her reason for wanting all the power.
Yeah.
Is to prepare for that.
Fair enough.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Even though she's a little bit of a witch about it.
Psychopath.
Wah, wah.
I love her. I think
She's
great.
delightful.
And again, just proves Marvel knows how to cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, now that we're done with the main thing, let's talk about some of the things that the theories. I think that they set themselves up and gave us too many clues on things, and then we're surprised. Oh, we didn't mean for you to have all these theories, and we didn't mean to make all the fan base mad. I don't know if they meant to, or if that's just irresponsible. The rabbit and that's my two big ones, other than Evan Peters, is the rabbit and the stork. I still feel like they were supposed to be something, and I don't think they should not have put. They shouldn't have rubbed our nose in it. No, that's where it is. That's something, and bring it up again and again and again.
Well, I think if you put all your chips on the table, and you don't have anything to further to do if you just do everything all at once. I think, like I said before, Disney and the MCU is very good at playing the long game. So these little breadcrumbs could very well be our theories, but they're not going to come true or false until much, much later in the process. So I think it's a necessary misdirection, or a necessary, like, oh, we're just going to put little sprinkles on top just to make things interesting,
Sprinkle.
They kind of do it throughout the movies too.
Yeah.
I think Chris is right. Yeah. It's the long game. It's the long game. I don't think they're rubbing your face in it. I think they're planting seeds.
I need the answers, especially the stork thing. The stork bothered me so much.
Patience.
And
That's still bothering me.
I think the rabbit thing, to be honest, I think the rabbit got most people thinking that it was something other than just her familiar, because we are so preconditioned to witches having cats as their familiars instead of rabbits.
True.
Now I'm like Dove. I'm not 100% sold that was not some sort of veiled reference to Mephisto. And I know there's going to be people watching going, "Can you stop talking about Mephisto? He didn't show up. He didn't show up yet."
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be just a rabbit, and that was just her familiar. And because we're so used to in movies and television and books and in iconography, the witch always has a black cat as her familiar. So it threw us all off a little bit. Or he could be a reference to Mephisto, who's going to show up later.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend who's on another podcast, and they had a lot of the same criticisms about, like, misuse of Evan Peters and, like, too many misdirections. Like, they didn't introduce Thanos until, like, towards the end. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if you introduced Mephisto right away,
we see Thanos once.
Yeah,
and it's at the end, in the end credit scenes of the first Avengers movie.
Yeah, but my point is, if you were to reveal Mephisto right away, there's no build. It's hard to build up to something when it's like, here you go. It's like, you've seen it. It'll get old. It'll get stale. So, I'm hoping, like, through watching everything now, I'm hoping that they choose Mephisto as, like, the next Thanos level villain. But, I have no idea what they're going to do. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do going forward.
They're also smart business people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, recognizing that they have how many series coming up?
700.
7? And
enough to keep us busy for the next year.
Yes. And that is for now. Like 7 for now, plus the movies. They want this universe to be viable enough to continue making them the kind of money that they've made on this.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to keep it interesting, to find that longevity, is to get, you have these encapsulated storylines that have tie-ins, that have these huge these huge lasting arcs that go on and on and on. So it would be in their best interest to be planting those seeds, as they have done in the past, to come to fruition later.
I mean, also Disney wouldn't dedicate an entire part of the California Adventure Park to now the Avengers.
Marvel Academy, I think they call it.
Because they changed the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror over there to the Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they've subsequently built an Avengers campus, which when they first announced it, this was before I watched it, I'm like, why are they doing the Avengers? Now that I've seen it, I'm like, okay, I want to go on every single ride that they have. So it's they know what they're doing.
Yeah. They're building the next part of their empire on this.
And in terms of that, I mean, there's always the talk of, superhero movies are going to us one day and people are going to stop watching them and they're dead. This is evidence that they're not.
No.
People love this stuff.
We've
good storytelling.
Thousands, please. Start with Odysseus. I mean, this is, and before that, it's a human need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Briefly, because I know we've wow, how long have we been talking for?
An hour and a half.
Oh my
Good
god!
grief! Sorry, guys.
the one thing
I'm not.
Thanks for hanging in, listeners.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
I just want to just to piggyback off of what Courtney and Satomi just said. It all comes down to storytelling, because I think why I enjoyed this so much is because they kind of took out a lot of the campy, typical superhero stuff we see in the MCU. Because they did all the campy stuff, and now they're able to like take more risks and do some more serious things. So yeah, I enjoyed this show. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be this good. So A+. I don't know if we're grading it, but I'm giving the show an A+.
I think everyone gives it an A+.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But I want to
Agreed.
throw this out. This is a very interesting thought. This was supposed to be the throwaway show after Black Widow.
Isn't that
This was
funny?
literally supposed to
Isn't
be,
that funny?
well, I hope we keep them while we get to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
But, and what a great lesson for the studios to learn that audiences are ready for these complex, deep, emotionally deep.
And comic books, kids.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
this is a comic book. This is not.
Read it.
Read them. This is, if you love this, you can enjoy comics and great storytelling.
I only recently started getting into them, and I was quite frankly shocked. I've always been into comic book heroes and their, being in the movie universe and the TV universe. But I started getting into it about a year or two ago and was absolutely blown away. The storytelling is really exceptional.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Come join the geek side.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, you better come out guns blazing because you got a lot.
Okay, well,
I have thoughts, but we'll talk about that next week.
Let me throw a reminder out. Next week, not on Patreon. This is a free episode. It's going to be the whole panel here and the next panel for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And we're all going to get together. We're going to talk about anything we might have missed with WandaVision. I'm sure there's a lot. And then we're going to say what we're hoping to see with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, that is a mouthful. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. So, with that being said, join our Patreon. We have a ton of new content coming out. In fact, we have part 2 of shows that are coming out on Patreon now. We're going nuts on this thing. It's completely worth spending whatever you got to spend and do a Patreon. Go to the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the com. We paid extra for it. Subscribe, like, share us with your friends. Share, and then share it more.
And more.
And share it. If you like us, your friends will like us, and that helps us out. And let's make the whole world the geek.
And if you think we missed anything, or if you want to dispute what we talked about,
yes, I'm sure that Blythe will write something he wants to dispute.
Please, Blythe. And don't forget to check us out on Discord.
In Discord, yes.
Yes, come talk to us.
And we actually have spoilers on that. Only in Discord
we talk
in the right
back.
channel. Yes, all the time. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Mr. Giorgetti. I'm here with Miss Geeky Page and the ever so lovely Scarlet Witch cosplayer of Satomi Hoffman.
Scarlet Satomi.
Scarlet Satomi. Keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.